I am a lawyer. I am very analytical, and I've always had a natural inclination to obsessively think through situations, to identify risks, and to develop plans to manage and address those risks. I somehow missed the mark in my family planning exercise. I never actually considered that being able to conceive when I was finally ready was not a guarantee. So at 31, after being married for 1 year and trying to conceive for 6 months without success, and growing quite impatient with what seemed at that time as if it was taking far too long, I went to the doctor to find out if something was wrong. She referred me to a reproductive endocrinologist who was highly recommended. My introduction to the world of fertility clinics was a surprise and not at all what I had envisioned. The waiting rooms were always so full of people, particularly young couples, who would all sit in the waiting room in silence, and with most people trying to avoid direct eye contact, as if trying to summon some secret powers to make everyone invisible in that space, in a space where no one really wanted to be. At the start of our journey of trying to become parents, going to the fertility clinic often felt like a covert, undercover, top secret mission that no one could know about. We would always, in the car park, scan the area to see if there's anyone we might know as we walked into that building, as if doing some form of a walk of shame, or as if doing something wrong. Fast forward 6 years, my lawyer planning brain can't help but ask, why hadn't I considered that I may have fertility challenges when I felt ready and wanted to have kids? All discussions about reproductive health were usually about how to avoid unwanted pregnancy until some magical right time, when all the circumstances of education, career, financial security, having a stable relationship, when all of these things had aligned, and it was some perfect time that was now ready for you to embark on this journey of having children. I have now grappled with unexplained infertility for 6 years, which means there is no clear diagnosis, explanation, or reason for our inability to conceive, despite undergoing all forms of diagnostic testing and undergoing both non-invasive and invasive fertility treatment. This experience, and that word unexplained, has been somewhat of a nightmare for my analytical nature, where I usually thrive and love problem solving, identifying an issue and working through possible solutions. Unexplained infertility, with no clear solution, and with an outcome that continues to be completely out of my control, has pushed me to my limits, and it has been one of the most difficult experiences that I have faced. I have had to find ways to persevere in the face of what has felt like a perpetual cycle of failure and disappointment, month after month, year after year. It is hard to pinpoint exactly when my efforts to compartmentalize my fertility journey started to fail. Somewhere along the way, that sense of failure in this one area of my life started to pervade everything, and I generally felt depressed, immobilized, and demotivated. Nothing prepared me for the emotional roller coaster of infertility. Initially, I thought staying busy was the solution to avoid the unwanted feelings of anxiety and disappointment, anguish, and frustration. At a very low point, a close friend recommended her therapist and that I make an appointment, as she felt unqualified to help me in any meaningful way with what I was going through. I am so happy that I made that appointment, that I took that first step, and that I sought help. In therapy, I was finally able to confront the difficult emotions, and I made space for reflection and to acknowledge what I was feeling and experiencing. I now recognize the power and the importance of engaging in dialogue about this experience. There is no clear roadmap for how to successfully deal with infertility or fertility challenges. Everyone's experience will be different. But by embracing my own journey and opening up about the difficult emotions and seeking help along the way, I've been able to work through my emotions in a more productive way, and I've seen the growth and the resilience that this experience has gifted to me. My 6-year journey with unexplained infertility is by no means unique. The World Health Organization has categorized infertility as a disease of the reproductive system. Estimates suggest that 1 in 4 couples in developing countries and 186 million individuals live with infertility globally. Chances are high that we all know someone who has faced fertility challenges. Unfortunately, many people dealing with fertility challenges suffer needlessly in silence and in isolation, particularly at work as they try to navigate this experience. The effects of infertility are wide-ranging on both men and women. You fluctuate continuously between various conflicting emotions, ranging from disappointment, anxiety, heightened stress, depression, feelings of grief and loss, hopelessness, a sense of personal failure and inadequacy at fulfilling a basic biological function, to emotional highs of hope and excitement about the prospect of a positive outcome. I've learned that fertility struggles can take a toll on so many areas of life, and there is a close intersection between dealing with infertility and mental health and well-being. Yet there is so much silence in the workplace about fertility issues. While recognized as a disease impacting reproductive health, provisions for fertility treatment are typically excluded from medical coverage and from related policies, adding to the stress of this experience for so many. As a professional community, we need to do more to raise awareness of infertility, to shed light on what the experience can entail, and to ensure there is adequate support and inclusive workplace policies for those grappling with this disease. Of course, not everyone feels comfortable sharing their fertility struggles. It's a very personal and private issue. Like I did for many years, some people will simply find support from the stories and experiences of others who have courageously shared their experiences online or in person through different forums. And many people may not want to share that they are undergoing treatment, in one part to avoid uncomfortable questions about the outcome. But if nothing else, more dialogue on fertility challenges helps those going through this very difficult experience to know that they are not alone. And by sharing those experiences, having that dialogue, it may even help some people to make better or more informed, or just have support for the choices that they are making along the way, by learning and sharing in the experiences of others. While facing this issue, I've observed areas where greater attention to fertility challenges can have a positive impact for employees trying to juggle a demanding career while undergoing treatment or making other difficult family planning decisions. Firstly, companies need to have policies that include the various family planning journeys that those facing fertility challenges may pursue, from undergoing fertility treatment to adoption or surrogacy. Secondly, policy should also recognize and address the need for flexibility to balance or to focus on the very emotional and physical demands of undergoing fertility treatment, and to remove the fear that seeking time off or flexibility with roles and work assignments while undergoing treatment, or maybe seeking time off to recover from the difficult news of a failed treatment, that those requests will be detrimental to one's career. And finally, there is also the issue of inadequate medical coverage and exclusions for fertility treatment, with it often being relegated to the category of not medically necessary. In addition to the physical and the psychological toll that infertility can take, many facing fertility struggles are left with heavy financial burdens in seeking treatment for their reproductive health. My time sitting in oversubscribed waiting rooms at fertility clinics in different countries has shown me firsthand how many people are seeking treatment and dealing with this disease, and that despite being so common, there is still this sense of shame, silence, and isolation associated with infertility. This silence and the isolation about fertility challenges does not serve anyone. Shifting my own perception about and mindset about facing fertility challenges has helped me to move from viewing this experience as one of repeated failure and inadequacy marked by shame, to viewing and seeing it and accepting it as a transformational journey of faith, perseverance, and growth. How can we move away from this sense of taboo and stigma associated with fertility issues to recognize that they are common and faced by many? I believe we can start by normalizing the fertility conversation, by sharing more stories and increasing awareness, having more informed companies, policies, and leaders, and most importantly, by sharing options and forums for support. By breaking the silence on this issue that faces so many, we can help to reduce the isolation and to help so many in our professional community emerge from these difficult experiences stronger, more resilient, and with greater healing, connection, and growth.